Well, all right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. Pastor Dowell here. Well, this particular video here on this 6-day morning is about they can't refute the doctrine. They can't refute the teachings. Listen, if you're in any type of so-called church or religion and you realize that they disagree with what I'm preaching and teaching, and many people do, and they have a right and they have a prerogative. That's their prerogative to be able to do so. Yet and still, if someone is going to objectively disagree with someone, notice what I said, if they're going to objectively disagree with someone, then the onus is on them to be able to prove to you, the listening audience, the truth of the so-called teaching that they believe. That's the reason why it's good for us to be able to debate causes, because that way the listening audience get to weigh the evidence and not the persons. Weigh the evidence, put it together, and then determine what is the truth. I noticed that, and I mind you, I'm out here in the country. I wake up to this every morning. Listen. So I wake up to every morning. Solstice, serenity, beauty, just the sounds of nature. And besides, when we're not popping off and firing off rounds for, running that gun and training. But anyway, the day that we're living in, your soul is extremely important, extremely important. I know that some people put a high value on it and some doesn't. Some people don't. But it's extremely important to you. And you've got you and your family one time around at this life right here. And it's high time for us to start taking it very seriously, extremely seriously. There are some out there that are promoting themselves and their church traditions over promoting Jesus, Yeshua, and the truth. And you got a lot of people out there that have a lot of opinions about what's been going on lately, but notice these people are the lukewarm people. They're in the middle of the ground, middle of the road type. Listen, if you look at the history of Israel, there's always been some type of conflict with them, be it external or internal. And the whole sole purpose of that conflict is to be able to resolve issues. I'm not under illusion like everybody else that just because someone names the name of Messiah and they say that they quote unquote love the Lord, I'm not under the strong delusion believing that everybody that says that they do love him actually love him. I pay attention to fruit. I weigh the fruit very carefully, extremely carefully. It's like, for instance, in this culture right here, all right, you have an American culture and American society. Then you have a religious culture and a religious society. Then you have conservatives, and then you have liberals. You have Democrats, you have Republicans, always two opposing different opinions. Then you have those that believe and those who don't believe. You have agnostics, and then you have believers, you have atheists, and we can go on and on and on and on. And something has got to be the litmus test of defining what truth is. Now, those of us who believe, that's what this video is about, we know that he is the truth. The problem and the issue comes in is when people who say and they believe that they are Messiah, then you got to take note that we are a Messiah too. And so, hey, if they say they are of Messiah, we can say the same thing too. But the truth is, somebody is representing what's on that book and what's coming off the pages of that book. Somebody is living what's in that book and what comes off the pages of that book. And when you have people that live this message and they preach and teach this message right here, everybody that says that they believe the message, they don't live it. They may preach it, but they don't live it. That's kind of like the word faith. Faith in American society is something abstract, mentally believed, not something done. But given that the Hebrew culture is a concrete culture and not an abstract culture. Listen to what the word says. Faith without works is dead. Show me your faith without works, and I'll show you my faith by my works. So which one is it? I believe what the book says. It's a concrete culture. And if you don't realize and know that the Hebrew scriptures, the Bible, is a concrete culture, if you try to cross-pollinate it with this particular society and this new religion that has done popped up that hadn't been around centuries, I'm going to say they hadn't been around thousands of years, rather. And then all of a sudden, this sun worshiper comes in and it presents itself and it uses our book to twist, warp, and distort the real, true intent and meaning that the Most High Yah gave to the ancient Israelites and his descendants after him to be able to give you the truth, to be the witnesses, because people are supposed to be coming and grabbing hold of the skirt of us, the ones that is of Yehudim. But that's not what's happening today. We have sun worship that is masqueraded as truth. We have people who go to church on Sunday and they say that they are resting. Well, that's a lie. Because you read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, it does not support a Sabbath first day rest. It supports a Sabbath 7-day rest. You got to figure out what it is. Because the one thing about the Most High God is always had his people from the very beginning. Always has had his people from the very beginning. And there has always been a remnant that will keep the commandments of that book. Now, some people would tell you that there are only 6 we need to keep because they say we're now in the New Testament. Well, that ain't what the prophet Jeremiah said. He said in Jeremiah 31, and start at verse 31, read on down, that the new covenant, the New Testament, will be written on the tables of our heart. That's what the book says. But you got to square that with your own mindset. You've got to go and figure that out for yourself. But you have to read. You have to really, truly read. You can't just be deceived by someone that gives you a song and a dance, someone that's up acting and stage playing. Man, you can't do that. You've got one soul and one life to live. You've got to test everything and check out everything and see if it's true or does it diametrically oppose what is already written. Remember, the word is forever settled. And anyone that come and try to tell you that God has changed, they are a liar because the Most High doesn't change. What he does do is for us in these fallen natures that we have and stuff, he'll make concessions for conditions. In other words, for instance, most people say the law is done away with. Law ain't done away with. How can you do away with something that defines itself as perfect and holy and set apart? That's what the law is. It's perfect, it's holy, it's set apart. So, whereas before time, and aforetime of things of old, in times of old, it was written on tables of stone. Now it's written on the tables of our heart. So you just change it from the application of stone to the heart. But the law still remains the same because it's the word. Nemesia, Yah breathe. He's perfect and upright. He doesn't change. Now, Jesus, the image of the invisible Elohim, God, he's the image, the express image. He doesn't change. So if someone comes and tries to convince you that he has a total different meaning and a total different way other than that which has already been established and written, remember what Isaiah 8:20 says, to the law and to the testimony. If they don't speak according to this word, it's because there's no light in them. None. That means there's something wrong, gravely wrong. And I know after, long time ago, about 30-something years ago, I was in Christianity. And I'm an avid student of the word. I look behind words that's presented to you in English, and I see what the original means. And I've always done that from the Greek and the Hebrew perspective, because things that are presented in English, this language has evolved over times, and some of the meanings that it has today, it wasn't the same meaning when it was written back then. And if somebody's going to translate one language to another, then I need to actually check out and see what the original meaning of that translation was, as opposed to using modern day Webster definition of defining words, because that could change. That's like Strong's. They give you Strong's exhaustive concordance, right? And Vine's Expository Dictionary of New Testament Words. Well, if you got an old Strong's like I do, man, it's totally different than this modern day Strong's, because they continue to keep trying to appease the conscience of fallen man, to not offend them. And I think it's the best thing in the world could happen to you is to get offended. I think it's the best thing in the world could happen, get you mad. Hopefully it will motivate you to go check things out and then to prove to see if the things are so or not. That's the best thing could happen in the world. That's for you. You should do that. But man, the deception is really real. Tonight, I'm going to be on the broadcast tonight, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on this channel. You want to come in and join live? Come on. And I may even open up the line. For phone calls. Hallelujah, phone calls. But I really want to be able to take phone calls tonight from people who claim to be members of First Church. I want to do that. I'm going to take a few of them if they will come. I'll give out the guest call-in number and everything. We'll put you on live. And matter of fact, we'll even go probably one step greater than that. You want to have a little discussion? We'll bring you up on live on video on our channel. We'll send you a link. We'll post it in the chat room and give you a live link to where you can actually come in and we can talk and dialogue face to face. So prove all things and hold fast that which is good. Listen, I want you all to have a wonderful, restful Sabbath that starts tonight at nightfall and it ends at Saturday night at nightfall. And I want you all to be encouraged. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be in the tabernacle. I think you're going to want to be there for that message, because it's not going to have anything to do with Geno Jennings and the First Church. It's not going to have anything to do with opposing all these liars out here and their false doctrines. We are feeding the sheep of the Most High Yah on the Sabbath day. Looking forward to seeing you and you there. Hope it says something to stimulate thought. Y'all be encouraged, all right? Shalom, shalom. The King is coming.